Hi, my name is Lisa Rothfuss, and this is Family Divorce Stories. I'm a psychotherapist here in the Austin area, and I started this YouTube channel to help parents understand how relationships can change with their children after a divorce. My hope is that these stories will help you to keep a healthy relationship with your child, even after a divorce. So let me tell you a story. This is a story of Mary and her 13-year-old son, Ethan. It takes place during the school year on a school night at Mary's house. Ethan, this is the second time I've asked you to get off the computer and start your homework. Mom, I'm in the middle of a game. I'll do it in a little bit. Ethan, either get off the computer or give me your phone. Mom, I don't understand what the big deal is. At Dad's house, I can do my homework whenever I want to. I don't care what you do at your dad's house. At my house, we do homework first. But Ethan doesn't stop doing the game. Mary gets really angry and comes over to him and says, "Ethan, give me that phone now." Ethan looks at her and says, "No, I'm not going to give you the phone." This makes Mary even angrier. She goes towards Ethan to take the phone away from him. He turns around and he starts screaming at her. "This is not your phone. You cannot take this phone away from me. Dad gave me this phone. I'm calling Dad right now and I'm telling him to come and get me. Get me out of this house." "You're not going to call your dad. We're in the middle of trying to deal with this. Get off the computer and start your homework and give me the phone." But Ethan doesn't give her the phone. He actually starts to back away from her. And as he does, she goes towards him to take the phone. He stumbles, he falls back, falls to the ground, and the phone falls to the ground and cracks. Mary then picks the phone up and says, "You have lost the privilege to have this phone for a long time. I hate you. I hate coming to your house. Dad's the only one that understands me, and now I can't even call him on the phone. I don't want to come over here anymore." If you're divorced, I'd be really surprised if you haven't found yourself in a situation a lot like this one. In fact, cell phone issues are usually a pretty big deal between children and parents after a divorce. Oftentimes, your ex will give the child a phone. Child misbehaves. You take the phone away to discipline them. Child gets belligerent and angry, maybe even ending up in a physical confrontation a lot like this one. What Mary didn't understand is that she really messed up in this situation by taking the phone away from Ethan. You may see the cell phone as an intrusion into the time with your child, or a convenient way to discipline when necessary. But your child most likely sees the cell phone as an actual lifeline to the other parent. When you cut that lifeline off, the child's going to feel threatened and angry, and it could set in motion a situation much like this one, which ended in a physical confrontation with Ethan on the floor and the phone cracked open. So what did Mary do wrong in this situation? Well, she tried to use the phone as a way to discipline Ethan. This backfired on her for two reasons. The first is that after a divorce, kids often see the cell phone as a transitional object between them and the connection they have with their parent. They may be particularly close to that parent. And if you take that cell phone away, they feel like they're losing their relationship with their parent. The second reason is that oftentimes, because they are feeling close to that other parent, they want to reach out and they want to call and talk to that parent. And when you take the phone away, they feel threatened, cut off, and angry. This can lead to the bad chain of events that we saw in this particular situation. But most importantly, this just hurts the relationship between Ethan and his mom. And if that pattern were to continue over time, Ethan could very likely become resistant to going to mom's house at all. So what should Mary do differently? Well, she needs to understand that phone issues need to be handled very carefully. In fact, I've even seen Child Protective Services investigations get started over cell phone issues. And that's probably because the Children's Bill of Rights states the kids should be able to communicate with both parents, no matter which house they're at. Kids are usually told this, and if a phone is taken away from them, they become particularly belligerent or angry. So Mary needs to find another way to discipline Ethan when they're having problems. Mary might also talk with her ex ahead of time and say, if I'm having a hard time with Ethan and he tries to call you on the phone, can you please direct him back to me so we can work on the problem together? That way, Ethan learns that he needs to deal with his problems with his mom directly and not pull Dad in to be part of the situation. So let's tell the story again. This is a weeknight at Mom's house, and Ethan's still on the computer. Mom says to him, Ethan, you need to get off the computer. I've already told you twice. I'm just turning the computer off now. Mom, I'm in the middle of my game. I don't want to stop right now. I'll do my homework later. Well, Ethan, we've talked about this. At my house, you do your homework first. Well, at Dad's house, I can do it any way I want. I'm calling Dad. I'm going to tell him to come and pick me up. Ethan, we've had this conversation before. Your dad, you and I, we've discussed that when we're having a problem, you and I have to work it out together. You can't go call your dad and pull him into the middle of the situation. It's not fair to your dad. You and I need to work things out together. So, please, get off the computer and start your homework. All right. But can I call Dad later? Sure, you can call your dad later. 3 things that Mary did here that made this situation come out much better than the first story. The first is that she didn't use Ethan's phone as a way to discipline him. The second one is that when Ethan wanted to reach out to his dad and pull his dad into the confrontation, Mary had talked to her ex-husband ahead of time about this, and they had already agreed about how they were going to work on this together. They encouraged Ethan to work with her directly. The third is that Mary kept her cool, and she didn't allow this situation to cause an escalating confrontation between her and Ethan. This ended up having a much more positive impact on their relationship. My name is Lisa Rothfuss, and this is Family Divorce Stories. And you can reach me at 512-643-2851. Or you can email me at info@lisarothfuss.com. Or surf on over to my website at www.lisarothfuss.com. I hope you'll tune into this channel for more divorce stories, and don't forget to subscribe.